What's up everybody? I had a super fun analysis video planned today. I was supposed to upload it yesterday, but I admit I fell asleep after I got home from work. However, in the last video I uploaded, there was some people saying in God of War, Mimir was actually from Norse and didn't know what I was talking about when I said he's from Scotland, which is Celtic mythology. Now this comment here, the person was really respectful and asked how Mimir was from Scotland, which I was happy to answer. Here's another user that asked, but just in a really aggressive way, but I do appreciate him leaving a comment, and I was happy to explain it to him because, he asked and just didn't know. I assumed everybody knew this information, it's why I didn't include it in the video, and looking at the comments, a lot of people already knew this. However, you have this user's comment. Now, I'll be responding to this user's comment throughout the video. It's because of this comment is why I'm making this video in the first place. I'm responding to this person out of peace, love, and respect, so please nobody harass this person, as I'm not going to. Even though he's pretty negative towards me, I don't want any negativity going towards him. So this is what he had to say. Yeah, when you said Mimir was from Scotland, I stopped the video because I realized you're just another YouTuber who pulls a bunch of stuff out of his ass. Just another BS artist who makes up theories based on absolutely nothing but your imagination and your sheer ignorance of any of the mythologies, be it Greek, Norse, or otherwise. Pretty harsh comment if I say so myself. Now I'm going to unpack this comment. Tell you how Mimir is actually not from Norse but originally from Scotland in God of War. No theories will be presented in this video because everything I'm going to say is already confirmed in canon. Then I'll be talking about traditional myths in general. I'm going to break it down piece by piece by this person's comment, and again, please do not harass this person if you find out who it is. Now I'm going to break everything down about everything he said. First, Mimir being from Celtic mythology is an interesting topic. Just like Kratos, he's actually not a native of these lands. Actually, that's not even his real name. His real name is not Mimir. Here is what he had to say during a conversation in the game.
Enduring power of wit, which served me well with kings and gods alike. By night, my mates and I had the run of the forest. Good fellows they called us, never spites to the last. We'd get up to all manner of mischief, making fools of the local mortals. And one day he was not amused, and I saw fit to move on. Thankfully, the ages and roads travelled since then have turned me from that merry wanderer into the paragon of virtue you see before you today.
How'd you come to be in these lands?
Lad, there comes a time in every man's life when he changes his name and heads north to make a new start. If you live long enough to do this many times over, you might end up as far north as this place.
Based on what he said, the community found out that he's actually not from Norse, but most likely from Scotland. By the way, he describes his homeland as people called him a sprite. This was actually later confirmed by a writer on the game. Yes, Matt actually was a writer on the team and helped create the story that we all love. If you're going to go against him, then there's actually no hope for you and there's no point in arguing. He came from Celtic mythology to Norse mythology, and when he did, he gave himself a new name, the name being Mimir. Now let's talk about the traditional myth. This person says, I know nothing about mythology, being Greek or Norse. Here is my response to that. Angerboda being black, Balder hating his ability to feel, the entire God of War Greek story, who Loki is in God of War. Guess what? God of War has never followed the traditional myth. I'm guessing when this person hears me talk about the mythology in this game, he just thinks I'm wrong because it's not the traditional mythology, like Mimir not being from Norse. But in reality, I don't think this person has ever played any of the old God of War games, and I say that out of peace and love and respect. Not to assume authority over him and his comment, but he never played them, because God of War has never followed the traditional myth. Something you would know if you play a single second of the old games. Why Santa Monica is so talented is because they take pieces of the traditional myth, being characters, settings, creatures, some plots, and they twist them and turn them into their own thing. This has been true since God of War 1 to God of War 2018, and that's what makes storytelling amazing in my opinion. Take Balder for example. Balder, in the traditional myth, was a very loving person. When he got his gift of not being able to feel or be affected by things physical or magical, he showed that power off to all of the gods, and all of the gods loved him, and he loved all of the attention. And in God of War, they changed him. The gift now a curse, and they use that as a plot line throughout the game. Yes, they use a traditional myth, and I use a traditional myth sometimes to try to connect it to God of War, but the truth of the matter is, God of War has never followed the traditional myth, only used parts of it. The traditional myth does not really matter, as you can enjoy God of War 2018 or any of the Greek God of War games without knowing anything. I took the time to study Norse mythology, and I know a lot of it because it's a great way to connect God of War and the real story, and it enhances the experience, but at the end of the day, the real mythology is not required. So this person boasting that I know nothing about the mythologies when I clearly do, doesn't matter at the end of the day because its perception of the story is based on the traditional myth. That's what he believes anyways. So I'm pretty sure he did not play any of the Greek games, but I wonder if he even played God of War 2018. In reality, I think I know more about Norse mythology than you do. I just accept that this game is not following the traditional myth at all. I say this again not to put myself on a pedestal, but to let you know because obviously you don't know that God of War does not follow the traditional myth. So when you hear me say things like Mimir is not from Norse mythology, at least this is not his native land, I'm not talking about Norse mythology, I'm obviously talking about the game, and that's 99% of my videos. Now the last thing I want to cover is the insults. This is honestly the toughest part of this video because it's very frustrating. He says I'm just another YouTuber who creates things and is a bullshit artist. Say what you want about me, it's fine, even though, you're wrong because the information that you thought I was talking about is wrong. But it's fine because I get made fun of on a daily basis. Not a whole lot, but there's always a comment or two or the hundreds I get a day. But one thing that really bothers me about his comment is that he said I'm another YouTuber that makes things up. Which means he must have had the same line of thinking when watching other God of War YouTubers, and that's where my problem lies. My friends Captain Cuba, Shane, DeFooks, X, Cygnus, God of War Geek, and other people, I'm gonna stop naming names because people might be like, oh, I forgot them in this video or whatever. On their channels, he probably heard the same exact thing, was like, this is not the traditional myth, said some insults like he did on my channel and left. Now, with peace and love and respect, I say just because you don't know something that we say doesn't mean we're making things up. It just means that you're ignorant. It's okay to ask why we say the things that we say, and I go on other God of War videos. I don't watch a whole lot of other YouTuber God of War videos because I do that, so it's kind of pointless in me watching it. But I hate when I will go on one of these other creators' channels and I see the same exact comments. You don't know what we're talking about. Obviously you don't. I don't think you played the God of War games, or else you would know that the traditional myth doesn't matter. So when we say things that's not in the traditional myth, you get pissed off. Take the time to probably ask them. It's okay to ask why they're saying the things that they're saying, because like in this, you were probably wrong for saying that. It's okay to be ignorant. It's okay to ask about something you don't know. It's not okay to insult people based on your ignorance. But that's going to be it for this video. I know this was kind of a serious one, even though I had a really fun one planned, but I just wanted to make this response video. Once in a while, I'm going to do stuff like this. I'm going to be out of here. Thank you guys and girls for listening. Deuces.